Hello, good morning. So today we'll look into the first lecture, which is the introduction to communication research. So on this topic, we'll be basically try to gain an introductory understanding of what is social research, the paradigms involved, and what is quantitative and qualitative research. Some basic introduction to what is communication research is all about, right? So some questions would be like, what is social research, the task of social research, and what you can achieve with social research will be addressed here and throughout the lecture in upcoming days as well, right? Right. You also could find there are some similarities between quantitative and qualitative research as well, and the distinctions between these two different methods as well, right? Basically, what is social science, right? What is social science? Social science is basically any discipline or branch of science that deals with human behavior in its social and cultural aspects, right? Like, for instance, MacLean in 2018 outlined that social science is a scientific study of human beings. So, social science emphasizes for human behavior, the cultural context, how human performs in certain conditions, whether there are differences of behavior and different upbringing, certain things like what influence humans' behavior and so on and so forth, right? So it basically says that it's very difficult to predict how an individual human will behave, right? Because the basic understanding is that each and every individual have a different traits, have a different characteristic, how he or she speaks and behaves and so on, right? But however, in social science, in research, we aim to form a valid generalizations about how most people behave in response to certain circumstances. For instance, like now in the COVID-19 situation, right? How most people behave. We have that a lot of people are abiding by the need of control restriction order, right? But why some people are flouting the MCO orders, right? You can make a generalized observation and you can make an observation through the human behavior and can make a generalization, come to a conclusion by picking up certain samples and so on. So there are a variety of ways, basically, from understanding how minds work to how societies as a whole function, because individual comprise of society, right? So that is the basic idea of social research, social science, right? There are a lot of basically social science consists of various majors or various field of study, right? We have anthropology, archaeology, and so on and so forth, as you can see here, right? And in most instances, it cut across one another, right? It complement one topic to another. So it can either stand alone or it can function in coherence, right? Like, for instance, political science and linguistics, right? Sociology and anthropology, right? Sociology and political science, and so on and so forth, right? So sociology is basically, right? We want to look a bit into certain school of thought, certain field of study, right? What is sociology, right? Basically, sociology is interested in human social interaction as people take one and another into account as each behaves toward other, right? It involves in understanding or experimenting how human beings interact with one another, like putting into context, right? For now, that of course the most hot events that are happening is COVID-19, right? How people interact with one another. We are maintaining a social distance, which was not a practice in the past, right? But putting it, we are not practicing handshaking, right? We are trying to avoid it. So, but we're putting into different contexts. For instance, in India, where there's a caste and so on, right? The practice of casteism and so on. they do practice social distancing, but in a different context and different understanding, right? So that's the how the social condition mold someone's behavior and how they react to other human beings, and right, social groups, social relations, and social organizations, right? It emerged in late 19th century, where social problems emerging with the dynamic periods of brought by the Industrial Revolution. Industrial Revolution, right now we are facing the fourth Industrial Revolution, what we also call the emergence of AI, but somehow it is being delayed because of this pandemic and so on, right? But it will happen eventually. So the first Industrial Revolution, right, back in, if I'm not mistaken, in the early 1920s, right? The Industrial Revolution changed the economic pattern, the economic pattern of the beginning from the West, right? Industrial Revolution began in the West, right? So from an agrarian society, from a society that was working as peasants, right, as farmers and so on, they shifted to industries. A lot of factories were formed, established, and people were soon were working as factory workers and so on. So this condition has provided had introduced problems of poverty, inequality in the sense of wealth distribution, right? There are certain tiny of people, certain small number of people was becoming rich, while the majority of the society, the working class, what we call as the workers, right? The common workers were facing poverty, famine, they didn't have enough food, they have to work hard to ensure that their ends are met, right? So the labor conditions was deplorable, their well-being wasn't taken care of, and so on, right? So a lot of problems were emerging, so sociology wanted to understand what are the causes to these problems, right? Okay, now we'll look into the basic knowledge paradigms, right? This is important for because it will guide you, right? It will give you an idea about the differing worldviews behind social research and also social knowledge, right? Right, and also you can use either one or combination of these paradigms, basically one, right? To evaluate existing research and to plan